Welcome back to Shall You Proceed. I'm excited today because this show, I have all my siblings with me. But let's do some housekeeping first. Please make sure you share this post, share the feed, have a watch party. I'm only going to be live today for about 15, 20 minutes, so you have to go look for this show later on all my platforms. So take some time, have a watch party, share the show. Invite some friends. I have a great show today with my siblings, and I think you'll enjoy it. So let's get started. So on the show today, I have my big brothers and my big sisters because I'm the youngest. They broke the mold when they had me. So I have with me today my beautiful sister, Tere. Say hello, Tere.
Hello.
My amazing brother, Donahue.
Hello.
Jesus. And the oldest amongst all of us, my brother Tony, he is being zoomed in from Georgia.
Yeah, how you guys doing?
So I'm excited. So today is all about November. I am doing a month of thankfulness. And I am thankful for my siblings and the love we have for each other. And I love them dearly. And I think, I know it's very rare we're all together at the exact same time in the same spaces. Last time I think it was a few. My sister, I apologize. I apologize. So she's so not tech savvy. The last time we were all together, I want to say was a few holidays ago, and then we got together again for our mom's services, and that's rare that we're all in the same space, and that's because the age gap is amazing amongst all of us. There's a big range here. So Tony and I are 20 years apart.
Damn.
Yep.
Tere and I are 7 years apart.
Damn.
And Donahue and I are 8 years apart.
Shoot, we're like 2 years apart. Let me get. My sister's not a mathematician.
So it's funny that we have a strange dynamic. I think it's rare that you meet families that have the age gap that we have. We get along fairly well. I don't think we ever had really issues. They have resentment issues towards me, but that's their problem. They may want to talk about it today. But let's get into let everybody know a little bit about yourself. So Tony, you go first. Tell people a little bit about you.
Well, I'm Tony, retired military, retired martial arts instructor.
Oh, you got to add
Basically,
that
I'm
part,
retired, just enjoying life, playing golf, and staying out of trouble. Got two kids.
Got two kids, two beautiful kids.
Nah, I won't give them all that, but I got 2 kids.
Don't do that. Tasha and Mark are amazing.
Yeah. Hey, keep us straight, stay out of trouble. I'm blessed. Can't complain.
Absolutely. Donahue?
Me, I'm just out here just doing what I like to do. I have 2 kids. One just came this year, set my retirement back another
20 years?
10 years. But other than that, I just, enjoy life and I just do me.
Ex-military as well. You don't like to talk about it?
That's all right with all that.
Tere?
I'm just Tere.
No
kids. There's really not much about me.
Okay, that's what we're gonna do today.
Yes.
Okay, cool. That's great. That's what we're gonna do today. Okay, fine.
No, but seriously, no kids. Just still working, not yet retired like my older brother is, enjoying life.
Mm-hmm.
But
I just don't have no job.
Because you choose not to.
But just enjoying
You're
life.
Like, Tommy, where did money come from?
Enjoying life. The older I'm getting, the more I'm starting to enjoy life.
So let me ask all of you this. So our age gap is interesting for most people. Our ethnic, cultural background is different. So Tony was born in St. Lucia. Tere born in St. Croix. Donahue born in Trinidad. I was the only one born up here.
Yeah, you're American. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. You're an American. Yes.
So
that's what you were saying?
Yeah, she's just letting everybody know she's a Yankee.
First of all,
okay.
We're not going to do what you're doing, Tony, with all that nasty cowboy shit in the background. Let's not discuss that.
Okay.
Let's not discuss that.
All righty. Let it go.
So let me ask all of you this. Has the age gap been interesting? Have y'all noticed it? Because Tere and Donahue, you grew up together. Y'all had actual childhood together. I never had any of that with all of you.
I'm getting so old I can't remember my childhood.
So how has the age gap been for you? Like Tony, how was it for you when all of us came along? Have you noticed the age gap? Is it strange? Is it interesting?
Very simple. When Tere came along, I was resentful. When you came along, I was hateful.
Right? Well, damn.
And Donahue, he was a boy, so hey, I was good, But the age difference was a big thing for me actually, because when Tere came along, I was almost, doing my own thing, and all of a sudden I started having to babysit, watch this child, take care of him, keep it clean, keep it straight.
Wow.
Then by the time you came along, I was getting ready to
hate.
join the military. Donahue was just staying out of trouble. So, but,
I don't like the way it sounds like it's, you have an issue with the girl children.
I do have issues with the girl children.
I mean, what's wrong?
You guys got all the attention.
You see, let me just butt in.
No,
Please,
Let me
please
butt in. He up there talking all that smack, but when I was born, honestly, I was like the light in his eyes. He couldn't stop looking at me, having me around. All he wanted was his baby sister Tere. That's
sickening.
it. That is all he ever wanted.
Sickening.
He won't let y'all know that, but it's the truth. Now, when you and Donahue came around, he didn't like y'all, but me, I was the love of his life. He just won't admit that.
Is that why he dropped you?
Hey, I didn't drop her.
Yes, you did.
She fell.
And he let me drown.
That's
why I
you're
can't
here
swim.
though. You're here.
You still
That's
here,
what-
so
that's
you-
why I
you
can't
can't
swim.
Speaking of that, what happened? You remember he let her drown?
I don't know. I just
Hey,
threw
I
in the
thought
pool
you
in the
don't stay out of
apartment.
water.
Yes.
Told her don't go into the water. She walked into the water. That's a problem.
When people when people talk to all of you about your siblings and you talk about us, what do you growing up, what was the hardest thing coming from, because y'all got here back in 76, right? The 76, 75, 76.
Mm-hmm.
What was the hardest thing coming from here and the culture shock? Because I know all of you had a different type of culture shock
Now,
coming here.
when you say here, exactly what you talking
Texas,
about?
when you came to
St. Croix or
Texas,
Okay. Well, for me, Texas was actually an easier transition than moving from Barbados to St. Croix. Because once I left Barbados and we got to St. Croix, our language difference was so, my dialect was so different that I had to repeat myself several times. And after a while, that got annoying. So, I basically just stopped talking to people, alienated myself from a lot of folks. Moving to Texas, after a while, it was real simple. Got to Texas, blend in, and I joined the military. So I wasn't in Texas that long. So
Donahue, how was it for you?
I was a kid, so it didn't. I didn't think about it much. I did notice that a lot of kids didn't really understand me because I'm pretty sure I probably had an accent at the time. But other than that, Tony. Other than that, I never really noticed nothing.
It's a delay, right?
Because I was young.
Tere, what about you?
The same. The cultural difference. Because when you come here from the Caribbean, when we came here, the Texans didn't really understand the Caribbean. All they knew in their mind was everybody was either from Jamaica. Oh, you from Jamaica? It's like, no, I'm not from Jamaica.
Yeah.
So that was different. And then the food, they were like, so what do you eat? And why do you eat this? And do you not eat hamburgers or hot dogs? And it's like, yeah, we do. It's nothing different. But it's just that, and then you just had to adapt. But when we moved here, we moved to like a little community of Caribbean people. When you think about it.
Yeah, that's how it was.
So when we moved to Baytown, it was like a little Caribbean.
So it wasn't a big shock.
It wasn't a big
like
shock
that.
because we still have people that we can interact with. It's just going to school. That was the hardest part. Yeah.
So the age gap. So all I know that there's a tension that Tony clearly feels all the time. Donahue never expressed it. That y'all feel. Tere and Tony feel that because I'm the youngest, I was treated differently.
You was.
Yeah.
Okay. But, the three of you had some type of years together, right? Like, I feel like I'm an only child. I honestly feel like I was an only child. I didn't get that type
You were.
I didn't get that type of interaction with all of you. So why were y'all so resentful towards me?
I don't think that we were resentful. You were just so young. So the things that myself and Donahue were doing, you really couldn't do. And then, too, you were scared. You would tell everything that we did. So
I wasn't telling on y'all.
Yes, you was.
You
you was.
all the time.
Yes, you did.
I don't even remember that.
Yes.
To tell.
Yes. You would always tell. So you became the favorite to mommy and daddy. And it was like, oh, what Tere and Donahue doing? So,
I wasn't, there's like how old was I? What, 1, 2?
No. You was older when you told. You still was telling.
And you still tell to this day.
Who I'm telling?
I don't know. So when Donahue did his dirt, he made sure not to do his dirt around you. When we would go play, we would leave you where you was at.
I don't remember that.
No, you're not.
Nobody want to remember snitching.
That was a good one, Donahue. That was a good one.
I honestly don't remember that.
I know you don't.
Tony, is that true?
Hey, all I can say is you was mom's favorite.
Very much so. I used to be mommy's favorite.
I'm going to tell you exactly what happened.
Oh, here it is.
It started with me, okay? As the oldest, I was responsible for each and every one. I took half the whoopings, whether I did it or not. Whatever y'all did, I got blamed for. So, as I got older, I started letting y'all do your own thing, And that's one of the reasons why I joined the military also, because as soon as I got out of the house, the responsibility fell on each and every one. Tere, she was always protected. For some reason, mom had a little bond for the girls. But the boys,
man, that's a lie. Let me tell you something.
We was always special.
No. Let me tell you what I heard on a regular basis. My boys. Y'all could do no wrong in mommy's eyes.
That one till we got older.
Shit, let me tell you something.
Shoot.
All I heard about was Tony and Donahue. That's all I heard about.
Shoot, you know how much trouble I used to get in?
You were.
But see, Lisa, this is what you don't understand. Tony started off as the favorite. Then when I came along, I was a favorite because I was the first girl. So mommy had all the opportunity to dress me up and
I rebelled against that
and all that stuff. Then
I didn't want it.
Then Donahue became the apple of mommy eye.
And then
hold on, wait, uno momento. And then when you came along, because myself and Donahue was rebelling, and Tony was off in the military doing his own thing, you became her everything. So myself and Donahue started cutting up, and then we stayed cutting up until we got older.
You allowed him to let you cut up. Let me tell you something about growing up with the three of you. As in the shadow of the three of you, I couldn't do shit. Okay,
we did it all.
Tony and I had this conversation.
Yeah.
Growing up with having the mother that we had and daddy working whatever, right? The three of you made it real hard for me in the house.
Yeah, that's true.
Especially
me.
Real hard for a sister in the house.
That's true.
I couldn't do shit. I'm like, first of all, I'm smart. I'm like, I can't let her lay hands on me. I can't.
That's why you never caught an ass whooping, and we hated that.
I've never got a spank. I never got spanked.
When Daddy came home, we thought he would eat and go to sleep.
I never got. But the thing is, but y'all
for breaking glasses.
But you broke stuff.
It was my glasses.
But what I'm saying is, though, I told Tony this, I think it was a few weeks ago, Tony, right? A month ago, that I don't think any of you understand how hard it was being the youngest in this family. Because, one, Tony, with his resentful, I have mommy issues ass for a moment, up and left, did his own thing. So then he was gone, right? And then Tere doing her own motherfucking thing. And then Donahue is just unbothered, having a good time, whatever. So it's like, mommy held on to me so tight, I couldn't do shit.
I left because my dad said, when you graduate, you either come work with me or you join the military. And I said, I'm not working with you.
But what I'm saying, though, you've always been outgoing. You've always been that person to go and make friends and do things. So I didn't have the relationship with my siblings. Like, I didn't have a big brother, big sister. I didn't have that. I don't think we even know how to do those roles.
We do now.
So when Tony tried to be that way with me when I was 21, I'm like, who are you talking to, pimp? Like, who you talking to?
I remember that.
Man, I'm real grown. Don't curse, man. Fuck you. What you gonna do? You know what I mean?
Said that too.
And then Tere, it's not that but I'm just saying we don't know how in other families, and I don't even compare us to other families, but I know other families that have the whole big brother, sister, middle child.
Yeah.
They have a role. We don't even have that.
No.
I don't think any of us fit into that role. But I really feel that y'all don't understand how hard it was being the youngest in our family, dealing with being the buffer between mommy and daddy, then the best friend to your mother, and not knowing what the hell Tony doing, you not listening, and Donahue told mommy all his stuff. She wasn't even worried about that. Was like mommy was Donahue's secret keeper, but she never worried about Donahue, because Donahue kept in contact like that. But I was the kid that had to deal with the brunt of it. So I had to grow up really quickly. So all that resentment shit y'all got going on, fuck you and you. I don't care about that.
I don't have any resentment.
No,
I couldn't be a baby sister. But I couldn't be a baby sister. I couldn't be a baby sister like that.
But sometimes you don't want that family thing too much, because you look at some of them families. They in your house sleeping like, bro, you ain't gonna go get a job or something? you eating all the food.
I think our dynamics is pretty good, though.
Huh?
I do that in
I mean, we could go 20 years, don't talk to each other, but once we get together, it's just like we've always been there.
That's so very
true.
true.
That's true.
And then too, we had to come together as siblings. We couldn't have done it when we were younger. It had to be done now, where we could actually sit, well, really since mommy passed, we had to sit down and really just lay all our shit on the table, say what needed to be said. Because myself and Lisa, we were never close. This is the closest we've been since mommy's passed. I mean, I know I don't see her every day. I may not call her every day, but I still call and check on her. I don't have to see Lisa every day. But when I have that feeling I know I need to call her, I'll call her. Same with Tony.
Let me stop you.
I'm just saying.
Nobody gonna call me.
I call you all the time. Let me stop you. So, let me pause real quick.
Uh-oh.
Okay. So, we just kept going. Okay, so let me pause you on that, though. So,
You know the subject what we need to talk about.
I have my notes right here. Thank you.
Lisa, you got old tic-tac.
It's on my phone.
Oh.
So, granted, we may not speak every day, which is cool. And I think we're okay with that. But the sad part is it flows through all of our life.
Yes.
So, we don't talk to anyone every day.
Yeah.
Unless they're in our face every day. And I think even with us, we have moments of even our own spouse or a significant other, I don't want to see you every day right now. I need to be in a room by myself and do our thing. But I think the issue that I have is with you is I think I don't like to be contacted when you only need something. You know what I mean?
Very true.
Like when you're on holiday kick, I'm about to plan an event, you call every damn day. And I'm like,
right.
Leave me the fuck alone.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Donahue don't ever bother me. That's why I call him unbothered. Then he's like, I'm unbothered. He has no time. Tony, he tries, but
But I'm
whatever.
getting better.
You are getting better.
I am getting
You're
better.
getting
I don't
better
call
at it.
you when I need something. I call just to say, hey, what you doing?
Don't I call you to say hey?
Yeah, you do.
You don't answer your damn messages.
For me?
No, Terry.
What happened?
People can text you and call you all day. You don't answer your messages.
She answers me. Because I call rarely. But let's talk about the world today compared to yesterday. Listen, I like to speak on that.
Okay, of what? What do you mean the world today compared to yesterday?
That's one in your notes.
I know, but I'm not there yet.
Oh, let's
Thank
go.
you.
Okay.
You gonna calm down. Okay.
Shall we proceed?
So family dynamic, where the age gap, it never really bothered any of us.
No.
So culture clash, it was okay growing up. So let's discuss really quickly, and then we'll go into the world as is today. What do you feel has been your biggest lesson growing up, from growing up in our household, and how we thought when we were 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and who we are right now at 41, 50, 48,
You could stop right there.
62. How do you feel? What did you resent then that you realize makes sense now? Would that make sense what I'm saying? Like, what lessons have you learned that made you change your viewpoint on things?
With me, I can only say two things. One, I didn't think technology was going to be big like this, the internet. I would have invested. And two, I would have went ahead and got my U.S. citizenship and have a U.S. passport because I missed out on a lot of jobs and opportunity. But my main reason for not getting a U.S. passport, because every time I wanted one, someone would say, oh, you can't do this because you're not American. And to me, it felt like a challenge because I felt like I can do everything you
without
can do
it.
without it. Yes, I had to do extra steps. I had to get a visa, or I had to do extra steps. But I was able to accomplish the same things, education or whatever the case, without it. But other than that, I can't say I regret anything I've done because whatever I did in life is what got me to where I am now and who I am and what I have.
What about certain lessons that mommy passed down to you that you didn't understand then, but you understand now?
A lot of, I could say my mom wasn't always right, but she never led me wrong. That's all I could say. She never steered me wrong.
I can agree with that.
But, she was teaching us what she knew at that time. But like everything, I was in a different, she's probably teaching me what she grew up with in the 60s when I was in the 80s or the 90s. And it was a different time. And yeah, when you're young, you don't listen. But, one thing she did teach me was enjoy yourself, enjoy your life. Don't regret nothing. Just, enjoy yourself. And that's what I do.
Tere?
Man, as a woman, I could say that there's times that I sit back and I could hear mommy talking to me when I was messing up as a young woman. And I could sit back and now I could see everything that she was telling me and, some of the things that she was telling me, the paths not to go down, or the corners not to go around, and I wouldn't listen because I was that type. You couldn't tell me.
You was hard-headed.
Yes, I was very hard-headed,
Still are.
And I would actually say I would not change nothing in my 48 and a half years of living. I wouldn't change anything.
It's more than half.
I'll be 49 in a couple weeks.
Yeah, there's no half.
But I wouldn't change anything because everything that I've done in my life, all the situations that I've went through and put myself through has made me the woman that I am today.
Tony?
Well, basically, she taught me a lot, learn how to survive, honestly. Understanding that not everyone that comes to you is a friend. Before you say this person's your friend, you got to really, truly understand this individual. But I sit back now, leaving home and going into the military. The military was a piece of cake compared to my upbringing. Because, the things they try to do, I already knew. The lessons they try to teach me was already taught by mom, And I try to pass that on to both of my kids right now. And one thing I always tell them, once you leave my house, you'll be able to sustain and survive in this world without anyone. They're there to help you, but you really don't need them. And that's one thing mom taught me. She always said, you're going to learn how to live by yourself, live on your own 2 feet. She taught me how to cook, sew, clean, and do everything else, And no disrespect to women. She said, hey, women are nice, but you don't need them if you don't want them.
Yeah, I think I'm single because of my upbringing. I think for me, the pros and cons of I agree with what Donahue said. She wasn't always right, but she never steered me wrong. And I think many people today tend to hold hard to, you don't know, but of course they're coming from a different generation, different frame of reference. Mommy didn't have an easy upbringing. Everything was very different, for her. So she was either filled with fear of going the wrong direction, being here by herself, doing it, rearing us, having the 2 boys, having young women, because you know how things can easily go awry. And the hard, fast rules, don't bring home no addiction, no babies, and promise at my front door, and we didn't.
No animals.
You know what I mean? And I think the fear of disrespecting the family was a big thing that instilled. That's why I didn't get spankings, because I was fear of disappointing everyone, because it was a heavy load on my shoulders. You know what I mean? But I will say.
Let me say something real quick before I forget. There's one thing you guys may have not known. Okay, mom had me when she was 16. Okay, a woman having a kid in St. Lucia at that time frame was basically ostracized. And she had an opportunity, the opportunity, everybody told her, hey, give this child up, do this, do that. But my mom's upbringing was really hard. I mean, our mother was treated like, I don't want to use the word, but she was treated like shit by our grandmother. And that's one of the reasons why I tend not to really associate myself with anyone from her past. Mom always said, once she cut a person off, she cuts that person off.
Very true.
And I did the same thing. Finally, I find out we have cousins that I didn't even know these people existed until I got a phone call 2 years ago.
Right.
But, with her doing what she did to raise us, especially me back in the island, moving from St. Lucia to Barbados for better opportunity, from Barbados to St. Croix, and then to Texas, where basically we call home right now. The woman was strong, very strong, Now, a lot of things with me and my mom, we're so much alike. That's why we butted head. I could only be in the house for 3 days.
You gonna let me finish say what I gotta say?
No.
But I will, what I learned from mommy was, loyalty, respect.
Yeah.
I don't care what anyone says. I tell people all the time, mommy showed me how to love because she loved us really, really hard. And it may have manifested itself and looked mean for some people because she loved hard because she didn't get that type of love. And also how to cut people off. I am a master at cutting you off and leaving you there. I think we all have that trait very well. And I'm like, you know what? Cold shoulder game is real strong. If you cross me or people that I care about, I'm not fucking with you.
And her memory was long.
Memory was long.
Nothing.
Memory was long. Like I was at the services, like if I had noticed certain people were there, I would have put them out in the middle of the service. Like, why are you here? And I have no care about that. But I learned how to put myself first, seeing her put herself last all the time by herself and many people. I've learned to love myself because I didn't see her love herself often. I know how to be loyal to my family, even though we don't have to talk every day. You know what I mean? And I learned how, like Tony said, and Donahue says, survive in this world. You know what I mean? That's hard, surviving in this world. And I think with that, it puts a fear in me to not let anyone get really close to me because, one, I know no one's going to love me the way she loved me. Not even y'all. I love y'all, but I know. You know what I mean? A mother's love is totally different. And two, I saw her put up with so much bullshit that I refuse to do it. Bullshit from us, bullshit from daddy, from people. And even though she was strong and people loved her and she was a force to be reckoned with, there was still some bullshit. And I think I am happy that I saw it because it made me grow up really quickly. And I realized that I didn't have time for it. So that's why I don't let anybody talk about y'all, cross y'all. Hey, don't do that shit. I have no problem cutting off this to take care of what's in front of me right here. And I'm done with it. And I'm okay with that. I'm totally okay with that. So, and it's hardened me. I will say I'm hardened by that. You know what I mean? But what was that for? What the shit?
Just clear my throat.
Clear that fucking cowboy shit off your couch. How about that shit?
Hey, you are hard. Like the conversation we had a couple weeks back, about a month back, I told you have to open up your heart so that love could come in.
We're not talking about that today, though.
No, but I'm just saying you have.
That's not what we're talking about. We're not talking about that.
I'm just saying.
See, I don't get this from Donahue.
No, I don't care. I love y'all all. And I tolerate people around y'all, but that's about it. Y'all, everybody's grown. I mean, what can I tell somebody that if you're more than 30 years old, ain't nothing I can tell you. You're a grown person. And it's ain't got nothing to do with me. I got enough stuff.
Unbothered.
I'm the type
unbothered.
I'm the type that I don't worry about other people, what they doing, because I don't want people to worry about what I'm doing. Because I know I'm not doing right, but I don't need no one to look into it and see that. So if I don't mind your business, you don't need to mind my business. Because I can't say what anybody, Tony, Tere, Lisa, anybody's doing something wrong, because who's to say what I'm doing is right?
Right.
So that's why I can't judge nobody, and I'm not the one to judge. In the end, until I see somebody named besides mine on one of them bills that come in my mailbox.
That's why
I can't get. The only advice I can give people is take some of your own advice, because sometimes we give people advice, but we won't even follow it ourselves. And that's what
that bothers me about people as well. Like, I'm protective over y'all, but I also know how to do it. Like, I know that he's unbothered. So, I mean, I know this. Mm-hmm. So if anyone says anything about him, I say, hey, you're not going to do that because, one, he ain't even worried about you.
Right.
So cut that shit because he real unbothered and you'll be mad by his response. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I have enough bother in me for everybody. I mean, I do. I've had to protect a lot of shit over the years at a young age. You know what I mean? So, and I am open to a lot of things, but I will say, though, I think growing up with all of you, seeing all of you and the way each of you handle different things has shaped who I am. And I don't think y'all really realize that. Y'all may call me hard or mean.
Slow to do things. Is that not something? Did that come out? That came out of me? That must be the heat and the heat in this pleather chair.
Anyway, so let me ask y'all this. As adults with children who are married or whatever, in society the way things are right now, growing up, what has happened in this society? What bothers you about the world today? Even though I know you may be unbothered, but what bothers you about the world? You're worried about your own kids coming up and stuff like that.
The only thing that bothers me is the way people communicate. People don't sit at the table without this advice. People don't just sit at the table and talk, or people don't just, you go out, there's 4 people around the table and they all on their phone.
Yeah.
People don't talk. And then when somebody talk to them, they get offended because the way somebody say. And it's like, perfect example is bullying. Back in the day, someone say something to you, you say back. That's it. Hey, your feet's big. Oh, your head's big. Done good. But now your feet's big, you run and tell the teacher. That kid grows up, and then when he's 18 and he's in the real world, he can't handle it when he's attacked by the job, or when he's told or he's talked down to. So we're like
gotten soft.
Yeah, we stemming the kids by not letting them. It's like my son. He was like last year. My wife told me that the daycare teacher, because he called his kid, he said, "You're retarded," and I said, yeah, I couldn't even get mad at him for why? Because he called a kid a retard. I said, next time call him slow.
That's politically incorrect.
But I'm not gonna start teaching my child that. Hey, come on, that's not it. Because what's retard? Come on.
I'm gonna get so much backlash.
I'm not. It's just we don't know how to communicate. And when people talk, the way people talk, we get offensive by the way they say it, and it's probably just the way they talk. Like Indians or certain nationalities just talk.
Yeah, it's
loud.
a cultural. People don't understand certain culture. Like people from the Caribbean are louder, talk faster, and have aggression behind their voice. They just love you. But people are not used to it.
People don't get out much around other cultures. Like me, because I work overseas, so I work with a bunch of different cultures. So to come home or go to the island and the lady's taking her time, it doesn't bother me because I know that's how it is, Or if I hear these Indians talking loud, or I see how, you walk into the store and they're acting funny, I'm used to that. Where someone who never traveled nowhere, they see that as, why you come to this country? Or they take it offensively, where I see it and I understand it.
Tere?
I guess I could say.
I would say respect. There's no more respect anymore. The youth of today, they have no respect for anyone or themselves. Growing up with Caribbean parents, first thing when we get up, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, excuse me, can I please, there's none of that anymore. They really believe that they are owed something, so it's scary. Yep. It really is. It is really, really scary because I just don't understand. It's just like, for instance, okay, I work in an industry where I help people find jobs. When they come in, they don't ask you what's going on. They're telling you, I'm looking for this, and if you can't give me what I'm looking for, they get mad. If I tell them, look, I don't have anything for you right now, they get upset. Well, why don't you?
As if you owe them something.
Like I owe them something. Well, I've been doing this X amount of years, and why can't you? Because right now I don't have anything to offer you. They get upset. They get irate. They get rude. They get disrespectful. They cuss. They throw stuff down. And it's like, and this is not the older generation. This is the younger generation that's just still in school or even just graduated. And that's scary. That is really scary, because who's to say as a woman you leave your place of business and that person's waiting for you because you didn't have something to offer them?
That's true. And, that's not blamed on the kids. It's blamed, I have to say, it's on the parent. And the parents, some of the parents are working so much that they don't have time to interact with that kid, and that electronic device is that kid's new friend or new parent.
What about you, Tony?
Real simple, Technology is the crime that committed what we're talking about right now. Okay, I don't know if Tere and Donahue remember, but back in St. Croix, we basically was raised by the entire individuals in that area. If I did something outside of the house, I better tell Mom I did something before somebody else stole
That's
it.
right.
And in today's society, especially I said being in the military, I was a drill instructor and everything else. I'm 62 years old, and I still say thank you, good morning, how you doing? And I open the door for females, I open the door for anyone. But if I open the door for you, I expect you to say thank you.
Thank you.
Yep.
That doesn't happen nowadays.
No.
Now, both of my kids, they're 30, in the 30s, and they're right now, if you talk to one of them, they'll say thank you, good morning, good afternoon, how you doing? But society has changed completely. Today was a perfect example. This woman cussed this cashier off for $2 that wasn't taken off in a coupon.
Are you serious?
I'm very serious. And I told the young lady, I said, hey, you know what? She's going to have a bad day, but I'm going to make you smile. Okay?
So, this happened. You saw this happen.
Yeah, it happened today. I was actually right behind her, and she's like, did you take the $2 off? The young lady said, well, the computer will take it off. They did not show her receipt, so she was upset. She cussed out. And I said, hey, you know what? I got $2 in my pocket. If you need $2, I'll give it to you. But that's what's happening. Now, the thing is, you think that was a younger person, right? That was an elderly woman.
It's an entitlement thing that's happening.
That's what's happening right now. Today, I go out, I leave the house. I hate to say it, but I'm expecting the unexpected, But it's because right now, you got, how old is a grandma nowadays? In her 30s?
There's very grandmothers true. Right now my age, yeah.
Okay, when a grandma for me was 50 and 60. I was raised by the entire village in Frederickstead, okay? And, and that's one thing about Islanders in a way, we kind of try to raise each other's child, and I say it's real hard. But in the military, I had to do some changes. I had to adapt my way of living. Not trying to say Americans were soft, but they're completely different than what I'm used to, But now, living in the States for a while, hey, I'm almost turning one of them also. I let stuff roll off my back now. It don't even bother me anymore, You don't open the door for me, you don't say thank you, I don't care about it. But if I see you on fire, guarantee I'm not going to piss to put you off.
I still show respect to my elders.
I agree. I think it's an entitlement thing, and I agree with what Donahue, what everyone said, and that there's no longer any rearing happening, and there's no longer the allowance of it's a village. Even in your own family, some people won't even let your own aunt or uncle or sister brother correct something, and it bothers me when you see children who listening to adult conversation. Why are they even in the room? Even if you're in the room, why are you looking in my mouth?
Done that.
When a child walks in or an adult walks in and don't speak, what are you doing? Like my mom used to say, we sleep together last night. You know what I mean?
Right.
And it's the, you no longer have the, now I won't say all adults have been great, because some people are just mean and hateful, but there's no longer the idea of correction. It's, what'd you do to my child is right. And so you're breeding the society of entitlement where you owe me something. I don't owe you shit. And the customer always right is not true, because people tend to think because I'm coming to buy something, you got to take my abuse. Example of in McDonald's where the lady had an
Threw
order.
her order back.
She had
at
an
the
order.
girl and
She got her order. I don't know what was wrong with it, and she started throwing the food on the girl. And the report that I saw was the lady went to the manager in the back, and this also shows you people just have jobs who shouldn't have them, saying this is getting heated, something's going on. The manager wouldn't even come out. So she made her go back out, and the girl is throwing the food at her. The customer's throwing the food at her. So the lady threw a blunder at her, hit her in the eye. Now, I personally don't see anything wrong with what she did. You're not going to assault me. You're not going, and people think it's okay to be abusive and think because you work behind a counter, you have to take it. Or I hire you, you're supposed to get a promotion in a week, and you should be making 6 figures and all these things. No one has the idea of putting in the work anymore and earning something. You're giving people awards for this participation. You get an award because you played. No, there's a first, second, and third. If you ain't win, you lost. It builds character.
That's right.
I'm not letting you win.
You know, if I open the door or say good morning, that's because I want to, and I do it for myself. I'm not doing it for that person because that's me. That's part of me. You know, that's what's reflected out of me. If when you look, you know, you see a guy with dreads, he opened the door. He even said, and the old lady, the old person, they surprised. And I don't do it because of their surprise. I do it because I want to do it. Right. Not because that's the right thing to do. Because that's a reflection of me, and that's who I am.
But we were just raised a certain type of way, though.
But the thing is, we all have a energy that we radiate. Just like when you walk up on somebody, he's like, that person don't make me feel right. But when you project good energy, then people feel comfortable around you, and they will respond to you in a certain.
And there are people who don't give a shit what you project.
It don't matter.
They're gonna
to
be
me.
assholes.
It doesn't matter to me. I can stand. You know, what I do now at this age, I observe everything. I could be in the line and somebody taking forever. I'll just sit there,
unbothered.
Because I'm a people watcher now, and I'm just.
And what's the point of getting upset about it? What's the point of getting about?
It's not gonna.
But I just can't handle blatant. You know, judgment and disrespect. It's like, and I don't, like within in how I work and what I do, I see it all the time. You know what I mean? And you'll have kids just running through, tearing things up, and the mother's on the computer just saying, like, so I have to go wrangle your child. Can you watch him?
Shoot,
ma'am.
Well, we were growing up when Mom and Daddy left that house.
You know,
we knew not to answer the phone. We knew not to answer that door. We knew to stay right there in that one room.
It's just a difference.
Point blank, period.
And I just think it's a difference. It's a big difference.
And by them not raising them kids right, it's projecting in that kid whenever that kid finally gets a job.
And the kids want.
That's why we don't
and they
have
want
no
guidance.
Service no more.
They want guidance. So you see a kid who's running around. And there's some regulars, and I come around the corner.
They need or a belt?
No, I think it's because I've dealt with kids in my job, and I look at them like, "What are you doing?" And they'll stop because they're bored. You have them here all day. You're not teaching them anything. You're not interacting with them, right? And I'm not trying to blame people. I'm just saying though, it's like you have to guide because then if you don't, you're gonna have kids people who come up who have no type of care and think that everybody is right and they owe them something.
Well, another thing also is like I've told one kid, he listened, but I tell Doran, when Doran turns 17, 18, he going in the military. People may say that's rough.
See, the same thing that Daddy did to you?
But you got to understand, when you're 17 and 18, a boy, he thinks he's grown. If he goes in the military, that's 4 years he's committed to. He's not going to quit because he's going to end up in the brig. He's got medical, he got dental, he gets to travel, he gets a job. After 4 years, he can come out with an associate's degree. He can come out doing anything. So he has opportunity. Where if I pay for him to go to college and 6 months later, man, I ain't trying to go out there and all that. I'm gonna choke the hell out of him. But now he's in a place where he cannot quit. He's committed.
You'll choke him.
He's committed. So I feel it's better for him. You know, he's not, you know, hey, you got to get up.
We got 10 years though. We got 10 years.
I ain't, cause soon as, for his graduation, he get a set of some luggage.
He got 10 years.
He's gone.
He come stay with me. He got 10 years.
That's good. Echo gonna be right there with him. He gonna be standing at the door with a bag and Echo.
They can come with me. They can come with me.
But no, that's how life is. You know, the kids are not doing what the older generation used to do, like back in the islands. The kids are not cooking and doing all them things. So, the technology is taking them away. We went trick-or-treating the other day, and there was a bunch of cars on the road, and the kids are jumping out the cars, getting candy, and jumping back in the cars. You take away the point of trick-or-treating. Kids walking around.
Nowadays, kids do not know how to be kids.
No.
They don't know what it's like to go outside and play.
No.
They don't know what it's like to, make up games in the house. They don't know what it's like they don't know about these old school cartoons. They don't know Mr. Rogers. They don't know Sesame Street. Things like that. Kids don't know these things.
Yeah, I work with someone right now. Love her. But she doesn't know who Mr. Rogers. She's 24. And she's like, "Who's Mr. Rogers?" I dropped everything. I'm like,
"But don't be mad. Some 20s don't even know who Tupac is.
But let me go ahead and pause the conversation.
Yeah, turn the AC on. His leather seat got me sweating.
So I'm going to wrap the show up right now. I want to say thank you for everyone for tuning in, listening, watching on YouTube right now. We were live on Facebook for the first 15 minutes. And
before I forget, your niece wants to know why you're not live. She just texted me.
If you let me finish closing this show out, you hear what I have to say.
I'm just saying your niece, not me.
I just want to ask. I heard a song.
Stop.
I heard a song by Sam.
Stop it. Stop it. So I want to say thank you for everyone for tuning in. I really appreciate it. This is Shall You Proceed. Check it out on Facebook for the first 15, 20 minutes of the live show. After that, you can catch us on Apple, Spotify, Google, SoundCloud, iHeartRadio. And also you can become a subscriber through Patreon for a low $3, $5, or $7 a month to keep the party going. And on Patreon, what we're going to have starting with this show is 10 minutes of exclusive only for you content of uncut raw conversation, which we do all the time, anytime. And if you want to become an advertiser and sponsor, email me at elisemain2019@gmail.com. Thanks for tuning in. I will talk to you later. Bye.
Beautiful show.